All right, hello everyone. So, continuing on from the last day, I suppose I introduced this concept of a circle with a center that isn't 0, 0. So let's say, for example, we have a center of 4 and minus 2, and we have a radius of 3. Then how do I write the formula? Well, in general, we label this h and k, and the general form, or sorry, the formula that which I showed you last day is x minus h to be squared plus y minus k to be squared. Remember, those negatives are built in, so any other negatives, you'll have to accommodate them, is equal to r squared. So in this case, it's going to be x minus 4 to be squared plus y plus 2 to be squared is equal to 9. And we said the last day that it's very easy to read the center and the radius from this form. Okay, very easy to read it. All you have to do is whatever numbers are inside the brackets, it's the opposite. So it's a 4 and a minus 2. That's your center. And then just square root this number. Okay, now where does that lead on to? Okay, it leads on to something that's called the general formula. Okay, the general formula of a circle. Okay, the general formula of a circle is slightly different. Okay, so I'm going to write down the general formula, then I'll show you where it comes into play when we're doing it on this side. Okay, so the general formula is always x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals 0. Now, there's a couple of things about the general formula, and we'll see it when we do it this way. Okay, and a couple of things are as follows. The center of the circle is always going to be G and F, but the negative versions of them. Now, as you can see, there's 2 times G and 2 times F. So when we see it on here, I'll point it out to what I'm meaning as we're going on. But we'll keep referencing back to this. And the radius is always going to be the square root, and this is important, of G squared plus F squared minus C. That's built-in minus there. Okay. Now, again, this only works if this value is greater than 0. What's underneath? If this is less than 0, it's not going to work. But that's another story entirely. So let's see what happens when we expand out this. Okay, so we're going to expand this. Okay, so let's expand it. We'll use our trick. Okay, square the left, square the right, multiply them together and double it. Square the left, square the right, multiply them together and double it. Bring the 9 over, make it equal to 0. So we're going to work out the C. We're going to get everything in order. Okay, so everyone in order. Put the x squared plus the y squared minus the single x plus the single y. Now 16 and 4 is 20, minus 9 is 11. Now, let's see what we can read from this. According to our general formula, the center is half, see, this is 2g, we want g, half the coefficient of x and change the sign. So it's going to be minus 8 divided by 2, which is 4, and minus 4, and change the sign, which is positive 4. Yes, it is. Okay, so same thing, apply the same rule to the y value. The coefficient of y divided by 2 and change the sign. Okay, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and change the sign, negative 2. Yes, it is. Now, this is the tough one. The radius is going to be the square root of. Now, be careful here. You don't even have to worry about changing the sign because it's going to be squared anyway. It's going to be, whatever. It's going to be minus 4 squared, because we're not changing the sign, plus 2 squared minus 11. Okay, hope you can all see this. Square root of minus 4 squared plus 2 squared minus 11. Oh god, I know what I did. Okay. Three. And that's what it is, which is equal to 3. If you notice, the error came because I put the squared inside the bracket. For some reason, these Casios don't like the square, a -4 squared. It comes as a -16. I know it's crazy, but it seems to do that. So just be aware of that little. So that's our general formula. Okay, so it's a you can give the answer in both forms, the shorthand form or the general formula form. This is more higher end of honors. Excuse me. This is where they want you to go with it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to throw a few of these up and we'll see where we go with them. Okay. So, yeah, so listen, it doesn't make a difference which we do this. First of all, we're going to do two types. Okay. We're going to go from center and radius to both versions of equation, and then from both versions of equation to center and radius. Fair enough? Okay, so here's our center, -3 and -2, and our radius is equal to 5. So we're going to express this in both forms. Okay, so in the kind of standard form, the kind of shorthand form, h and k, x minus h to be squared, x minus -3, x plus 3 to be squared, plus y. So there's your kind of shorthand form. Okay, that's type 1. Type 2, we can just expand this. Okay, now you could work it from the formula, but it's just easier to expand it. Okay, so in type 2, it's going to be x squared. We're going to 9. Now we're going to have a 6x. Now we're going to have a y squared. Now we're going to have a 4. And we're going to have a 4x. And we're going to bring over to 25. And we're going to tidy it all up now. X squared plus y squared plus 6x plus, that's a 4y. Sorry, I don't know how I put another x there. And then we've got 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 minus 25 is -12. Okay. Now you can double check that you're right, because if I divide this by 2 and change the sign, I should get -3. Divide that by 2 and change the sign, I get -3. And then if I do 3 squared plus 2 squared plus 12, should give me 25. 3 squared plus 2 squared plus 12 is 25. It is. And square root of 25 is 5. So there's your quick check. So there's your 2 ways of doing that one. Nice and cheeky. Now let's work backwards. Let's write down 2 of these and get our back from it. So, okay, so I want the center and I want the radius of this one. And then for the second one, I'm going to pick one from the book because I'm just not confident enough of making up one out of my own head. Let me pick one here. Yeah, that should work. So I want the center and I want the radius of this one. Okay, so how do I do this one then? So it's a different color. These ones easier. It's very straightforward. It's the opposite. There's the center, and then the radius is 6. That's how easy that is. Okay, this one, center, it's going to be divided by 2 and change the sign. That's 4. Divided by 2 and change the sign, it's 2. That's pretty easy. Now with the radius, it's going to be the square root of 4 squared plus 2 squared plus 16. It's minus 16. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a nice number, but I don't care really at this stage. 16 plus 4 plus 16. Oh, it is, would you believe? I didn't even plan that. It is actually 6. What is the chances? This is like my brain on super overdrive. I managed to pick the same radius for both of them. So there you go. There's a nice little simple way of doing them. So there's your general formula. There's your more standard shorthand formula that I like to call it. Okay, and there's how you go from one to the other, vice versa. Okay, as far as I'm aware, this is the only formula that's in the log tables, the general formula, x squared plus y squared minus 2gx minus 4fy plus c equals 0. That's the only one, but you don't, you can get to it from the other one. It's not that hard. It's not the world's hardest thing in the world. So again, playing around with these can do an awful lot of good work. And listen, take care of yourself, lads.